memories with us. Did we have that stand? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Please give your attention to Melody. It's okay.
So, I wanted to just speak from the heart, but then I was afraid I would forget everything because, it's been a lot. So I'm going to read. So thank you all for coming to show your love and support to my parents, myself, and my family. Speaking for both myself and my brother, we are truly blessed to have such a loving network of people by our sides. As you can imagine, this week has been painful and intense for both of us to lose our parents. But we've made it through because of the many people here today that stood by each other as well. Jeffrey, my partner, and Dawn, his, have been holding us and our children together very well, very well. So there's a lot of people I could mention, but I just have to say that. My father was born in Brooklyn, New York. Grandson of Eastern European immigrants, his parents were first-generation Americans. He was hardworking. My grandfather, he owned a laundromat, and at only 18 years old when my grandfather had a heart attack, my father took over the business and he learned to be an entrepreneur. Later, his creative mind moved him to be very successful in the arts. He was a union scenic artist, and he painted movie sets like Sophie's Choice, Death Trap, Annie, The Navigator, and more. And my brother and I spent some of our very younger years backstage at Radio City Music Hall, New York ballets, and operas, as he did all that scenic art. My mother was a lover of culture, and they fell in love at first sight. They were together almost 50 years. They moved to Florida in '83. They came here to assist my great-grandmother as she aged. He started a business in lighting because everybody needs a light bulb. So it was recession-proof. And my brother today has grown the foundation of that business to be something much greater. And so he has passed forward some success to my brother and his beloved family. My father was a quite narcissistic bodybuilder, and I see you laughing because you know it's true. But he competed incessantly and was actually Mr. Bahamas over 50. So he was something else. They had many good years, and when they first retired, they made a Bahamian paradise for themselves, and lived off the ocean fishing and had a really great time. Though he was always a little harsh, the past years have been very big struggle. He had dementia that slowly but steadily progressed. When he was clear, he was funny and loving and kind and madly in love with my mother. And when he was not clear, he was angry, irrational, self-centered, and madly in love with my mother. He called her his angel, his soulmate, and though she needed a break sometimes, she never gave up on him, even when I wanted her to. And she never stopped loving him. She held on to the memories of his passionate lust for life, no matter how bad things got. I won't keep you too much longer, I know it's a lot. My dad was right. My mother was an angel on this earth, I swear. I swear she had wings and she was tolerant and loving of everyone. I've been going through her phone to call many people I don't recognize that were her friends, and I found some notes. So I wanted to share with you. She had a couple of things. There was a list on one side of the negative, and on the other side, the positive. Annoyed, patience, abandoned. Stand in your own. Angry. Forgive. Power over you. Take back your power. Hate. Love. Fear. Courage. Can't control. Let it go. She was brought up a proper lady, and though I don't remember, I was taught which side of the plate to put the fork and the knife and how to fold the napkins. She taught us all proper manner and etiquette. She was born a Quaker, but her family history, in this generation, all of her relatives have returned to Judaism as her past, was that the stories are that they, from the Spanish Inquisition, emigrated to the U.S. and hid as Quakers, and returned in this generation of hers to Judaism, all of them. Some are even living in Israel. But she came from a long line of Quaker women. She was so proper that until I was in my 30s, I never heard her cuss. So I have a story that, so my brother and I had broken my leg, and I had a full cast, double tibia fibia, and my brother had a tumor removed off of the bottom of his foot, and my mother had broken her arm, and we were in a car in New York City, and there was no air conditioning, and it was hot, and we were stuck in traffic, and I had a melting ice cream cone that I did not want to finish, and I was trying to make him eat it. Forcefully, I think, probably, right? And we were fighting and screaming, and my mom, she turned around and she said, "Why don't you two just go just shove it up your padookie?" And so it turned to laughter, and for hours we laughed about what on earth was a padookie. She was really great, you know. She was really great. Her mother died young. She was in a nursing home with Parkinson's when my mom was still in high school. My mother graduated the Hartford College for Women. She had a brilliant mind, and she worked for IBM back when I was 9 and managed one of the very first databases and knew the DOS language, probably before anyone else. She never had a bad word to say about anyone. She forgave and loved all human beings all of her life. She embraced Judaism. She raised her children to be close to the temple. She studied Kabbalistic mysticism and shared her Quaker roots with me. I remember several meeting houses as a child. One more of her writings, and I'm almost done. So this came from her cell phone. The notes. Many thoughts about silence and stillness. The Quaker way. Life is full of noise. There is no time to think. Be quiet, grounded, meditate. Symphonies, folk songs. We are all products of our first 5 years of life, and somewhat, although memory fails us, of our previous lives. My early memories are of focus, kindness, consideration for others, politeness, manners, and respect. This is the core of who my mother was, and the values that we deeply cherish in her. I wish today for all of you here to take with you a piece of her energy, that my mother, that you may remember to love one another regardless of each other's faults and flaws in this human condition. Everyone is also invited back to our home today. We have a lot of food coming, so and I have a cavalry of women putting it all together, so the address is in the little thing that the guy gave out, and yeah, that's all I can say for now. Love you.